Hi everyone, I am Courtney Brown, Director of Farsight, and I am here to tell you today of a really interesting experience that our group of remote viewers had recently, one that I think you will truly want to hear about. Here at Farsight, we have studied the phenomenon known as remote viewing for a great many years, and we have produced a large number of public projects, both basic science and applied projects, during that time. Well, the time came when we wanted to try something new, really new. Through much of the first half of 2022, we at Farsight planned a special project, one in which we directly interacted with extraterrestrials, physically, not just while remote viewing. People often consider such interactions as close encounters of various kinds, but at Farsight, we do remote viewing, so any kind of close encounters that we might have would obviously reflect the accumulation of experiences that we have had while remote viewing. And we have been interacting with extraterrestrials using remote viewing for a very long time. Understand that all of our projects attempt to have a verifiable aspect to them that our remote viewers must perceive all by themselves while working solo and totally blind. That is how we know that they are actually perceiving targets for our projects and not imagining things. For example, if the project is the Great Pyramid of Giza, the remote viewers must describe a huge pyramid or a collection of pyramids in the desert. Similarly, if our project is the annihilation of the dinosaurs, our remote viewers must perceive the environment of the time, plus lots of large reptiles. And if our project is Area 51, well, we know what that looks like and what it looks like on the surface, and our remote viewers must describe what we already know before getting new stuff. So when our remote viewers perceive extraterrestrials, it is always within the context of verifiable elements that they must perceive correctly without any outside help as part of the project. So in general, we have a high degree of confidence in the abilities of our remote viewers when they remote view extraterrestrials. It's always within the context of something that we already know about. Well, as it turns out, we have discovered a great deal about the extraterrestrials interacting with Earth humans and extraterrestrials throughout our galaxy. In many ways, it's a mess up there. There are conflicts, territorial disputes, wars, basically everything that we see here on Earth, but extended to a galaxy-wide arena. As above, so below. We humans act like the extraterrestrials in a great many ways, and the extraterrestrials act like us. But we have also discovered that there are some extraterrestrials who are very supportive of Earth humans, and they very much appear to want to help us out with respect to what we like to call our current condition of manipulation and enslavement. Indeed, at least one particular group of extraterrestrials seems to be exceptionally helpful to us here at Farsight in terms of facilitating our research. Given the wide range of topics that we have investigated, one might normally wonder why negative or repressive extraterrestrials have not acted directly or indirectly to hinder or stop our efforts, especially since their own activities require a level of secrecy with regard to the general public. Well, someone obviously must be running interference for us.
Courtney, you're moving too fast. They want you to chill and slow down.
What's that?
They cannot follow that fast.
The girls or the ships?
The ETs.
Okay, you want me to slow down between the two? Between the different...
Slow down in between. Also give us a chance to actually conjure our light.
Okay. Okay. Okay, go. Okay. Ready. Alpha pattern square. Finally, it came time to meet these helpful extraterrestrials face to face, so to speak. But we are Farsight, and we use consciousness to explore everything. So in our investigations, we have discovered that the extraterrestrials' primary approach to interacting with anyone, including themselves, is through consciousness. For example, The vast majority of extraterrestrial species use telepathy to communicate. Indeed, some extraterrestrials do not seem to utilize any form of spoken communication. Moreover, virtually all extraterrestrials recognize that a subject's biological body is just a shell. It is not a real being. The being lives inside that shell, and they trade bodies like we change our shoes. We call that being that lives inside all physical bodies an isbe, which is someone who simply is for the purpose of being. We are all isbes. Of course, death is not an issue of finality for extraterrestrials, the good ones or the bad ones. They all know that it is impossible to kill an isbe. But they also know that it is very possible to confuse, capture, and control an isbe. And indeed, that is our situation here on Earth. We have a large population of humans who believe that their bodies are real beings and that the death of a physical body is a really final thing. And a great many human beings believe the crazy idea that they need to pray to somebody in order to live beyond the death of the physical body. Even the mainstream scientific community is loath to talk about the reality of the extraterrestrials, and they totally deny even the possibility of the body being nothing more than a shell housing an isbe. Talk about a confused and captured population. Here they are, right here on Earth.
But they're going to use any of us as a distraction. If anybody gets distracted, they will not reveal themselves. So if I pass out, if Kamaya blacks out, if anything happens, keep going. Get the footage. We're going to be okay.
If there ever was a group of Earth humans who tried to escape from this limited way of thinking, it is our group of remote viewers here at Farsight. And it seems that at least some extraterrestrials have considered our efforts to be worth supporting and protecting. So, a project where we try to physically interact with the extraterrestrials, at least the friendly ones, seemed like an obvious thing for us to attempt. But we recognize that it would have to be on the terms of the extraterrestrials themselves. We cannot order them to do anything, so we wanted to put ourselves in a situation in which a physical or close interaction is possible, should they want to accept this opportunity to engage with us more directly. Also, I felt that such an interaction would help in the development of our group of remote viewers. So, we planned a trip. It was a trip to the beach, camping in tents, and it happened this July 2022, and this video is part of what happened during that trip, down by the water in the middle of the night. And yes, the extraterrestrials did show up. But before we get to that, I want to emphasize that extraterrestrials utilize technology that essentially allows them to be out of phase with our normal senses, especially the senses of sight. They can turn this technology on and off at will. Thus, it is fully possible for extraterrestrials to be standing right next to you and you would not see them. They use this same technology with their ships as well, which is why their ships often appear cloaked, being visible one moment and then invisible another, showing up on radar one moment and then disappearing from radar the next moment. This phase-shifting technology also allows them to move through physical matter, such as walls. You can even walk right through an extraterrestrial and not know it. Well, before we went to the beach in the middle of the night, we practiced using our perceptual abilities that we have strengthened while remote viewing to perceive extraterrestrials who were standing around us. Now, some of us have become quite good at this, and it is relatively easy for us to perceive things like position, distance, gender, clothing, and even the thoughts of nearby extraterrestrials. We even play games where we independently try to describe these things without telling others, and then we compare notes. It's playful, fun, and useful. And it all evolved out of our remote viewing practices. At first, when we started to get good at this, the extraterrestrials were a bit surprised by our accuracy. Some were startled when we were able to turn in their direction and look straight at them. But they soon realized that this was a great thing, a new level of capability, one that inspired hope that it really is possible to help humanity more widely.
But then I saw this other thing, like in front of the moon, like directly in front of it. So there's the moon, and I see this triangular shape that's just blocking out this part of the moon. And it's kind of like a triangle or like a pyramid type structure, and it's really large.
In the context of these activities, we went to the beach in the middle of the night with cameras rolling, but we really were unprepared for the totality of what happened. Again, we are a consciousness shop. We do remote viewing. The extraterrestrials seem to really like that we are approaching them this way. So they did more than simply blink their ships on and off. They came right at us. No, it was not threatening. Yes, it was surprising. And yes, it was a much more powerful experience than simply watching distant ships fly through the sky. They came right into the minds of our remote viewers, and they guided the interactions more intimately than any plan that we could have dreamed up. What you are about to see are video clips that we took during the process. 2 of our remote viewers basically fainted during the interactions, but they recovered and bounced right back. One thing was clear. The extraterrestrials were trying their best to make this a supportive and loving interaction. They knew it was challenging, even for us, and they pushed our limits, but they kept it exceptionally positive, even celebratory in some respects, as you will see. In addition to the clips of the actual event, you will see reflections where the remote viewers summarize what each individually experienced and where they interpret and reflect upon what happened.
So then from that point, I feel almost like I'm being called to the shoreline. And I remember like digging my feet into the sand so that I would not move. And I can just, as I'm staring off face to face with them and they're calling me, I can feel my feet slowly shuffling through the sand, like I'm dragging my feet.
The experience began with our remote viewers projecting light from their hands upward. Now, this is the same kind of light that we use with our light-up procedure while remote viewing, where we flash like a light bulb for a moment, trying to observe if a subject can perceive the presence of the remote viewer. But in this instance, at the beach, the light was directed more like a beam upward. Now, human eyesight would not be able to see it, but we had no doubt that the extraterrestrials would be able to see it. After a while, the extraterrestrials pulled our viewers individually closer to the water's edge, and then things got deep, as you will see in the reflections. Watch and see for yourself. Now, a couple of points. First, when our remote viewers communicate telepathically with extraterrestrials, bright lights interfere with the process, which is delicate to begin with. So sometimes you will see our remote viewers wearing sunglasses, and that is because we have strong video lights shining at their faces, and those video lights would distract from the thought transference. Second, we have a name change to announce. Princess Janae, one of our remote viewers, whom most of you know well, is also a stage actress and performer. Now, I myself have gone to see a number of plays in really gorgeous theaters where she played the leading role. She uses a different name in those settings, Yemi Janae. Eventually, she became well known enough in both realms that it was causing confusion among her larger audience, so she is switching to use only one name, Yemi Janae. So from now on, we will refer to her as Yemi Janae. Same great talent, just a change in a name to unify her brand, so to speak. So here it is, Farsight's Close Encounter, 3 a.m. in the morning, in a secret location at the beach with no one there except our group of remote viewers and the extraterrestrials. It is our hope that you will benefit from watching what we did and in knowing what happened to us.